Well, here it is, another morning. It's 4:17 in the morning, Pacific Standard Time, and it's Tuesday. About, let's see, it was in California. See how it goes. Damn near end of August. A while ago, 3 weeks ago, I received the gubernatorial junk. Aren't we nice? Turning my place into a polling place. Some information, and we'll have to go. But information, I will. I gotta turn, and I don't have to turn anything. I just have to deal with a mess. Because every time there's an election, it always turns my area into a junk pile. Political mess. Where I get all this damn political junk. Now I either gotta keep the crap or not. And because I had voted. Yay! He voted. Go to Mel. Now I gotta deal with this crap. So, I did a little video today. If I get that damn thing processed, I can show it to us. And then post it. Sometimes when I like to do the videos, I would kind of just post mine, but sometimes when something like this works. I need to find the right music and get the right accreditation on it, because I don't want YouTube to give me a field day. Of course, I just might have to do two postings now. One, without the music, to get past YouTube. And the second, to get some copyrighted music to get posted on it. What the hell? But I had voted. This is not a matter of saying I have spoken. No, I have voted. Early in the morning hours, filled out the applications. Put it into the envelope with a nice, disgusting adhesive tape. Never could stand that thing. Paste? Some people actually like the paste. I didn't. I didn't like this. But it's just disgusting. Anyway, I mailed it. It's gone. Decision's already been made. A long time ago. I just tried to find the right time to just put it in there. And a couple of weeks shy before the election comes. Or a week or two. This is coming up on the 14th. California has to decide whether or not we are going to allow one particular man keep his office. If not, we're going to have to deal with every other freaking knothead. This is the thing. This is the official sample ballot. Okay? Let's show this to you. Now, this is what California has to fill out. Something of that nature. One simple question, right? One simple question. And I'm going to read it to you. It says, shall Gavin Newsom be recalled, removed from the office of governor? Say governor! If you voted no, if you had voted No. On this particular sample ballot, if you're in the state of California, if you are a registered voter of a political party, you will be filling this thing out. And you will be making your democratic choice. Now, if you need filling out the other way, we're going to present this fine list of candidates here. You see how many freaking candidates are chomping at the governor's bits? Been talking this thing for half a year already. One of them you already know who it is. He's been trying to get, well, actually maybe a couple of knock-ins. Probably see their names on a ballot somewhere. You take a screenshot of that if we need to. But this is what we have to deal with in the state of California. Now, how do we get it? Okay, what don't I get? A simple election. A simple decision. A simple choice whether or not you actually believe in the governor or you don't believe in the governor. A simple yes or no. And then the no turns out to be several dozen or an army of idiots and assholerettes. And that's it, isn't it? If who you want for governor of California, most of them don't even have the experience necessary. But if they did, one of them's been trying since for 30 years he's been on the radio. Well, 30 years on the radio gives you 30 years of media exposure, but it doesn't give you experience concerning governing or politics. It doesn't give you shit. It's like trying to get resurrected dead of Rush Limbaugh and having him be the president of the United States. Ha 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 ha. Sorry, but I'm laughing at that one. Larry Elder's been into California as a big pain in the ass, conservative pain in the ass. He and other schmucks like him have groomed from Rush Limbaugh's lineage, prodigy of it, doing conspiracy theories left and right. Yeah, I'm saying the damn thing, character assassination at this point over here because they're doing their own damn character situations. And the problem is, if he's that conservative, if he was that active in politics all this damn time, why stick himself in the damn microphone for 30 frickin' years instead of keep running for offices left and right? Why didn't he work his way through the chain of commands? Gone through city councils after city councils, maybe gone through the supervisors area. And then after getting in a supervisor area, maybe mayorship. And that gave him a taste of what governing was all about, or running a city or running a county. And then move over to the big boys. But no, 30 years on a radio is going to be qualifying him for being a radio because of his ideas. Give me a frickin' break. Newsom, unfortunately, had been groomed into the situation. Silver spoon stuck in both asses. Front and back. And because of the COVID situation, he is being used as a target left and right because he is governor. He is Democrat. He is open season for politics and political head games going on left and right. The COVID-19 he tried to deal with, I don't think anybody else would have been able to deal with it. They'd probably want the schools open and then hospitals overwhelmed. But right now with the Delta variant kicking everyone else's ass, including those who haven't been vaccinated, actually primarily the ones who haven't been vaccinated, people keep thinking this damn thing is a joke to them. But this isn't a joke. If the hospitals are reporting this information, the doctors are having a field day, and our nurses are coming on the screen saying, look, we have enough of this damn shit, knock it off already. People aren't listening. Back in the south, when Hurricane Ida just kicked the shit out of the damn coastline there. Mississippi, Louisiana. Both these states have enough problems with bed spaces and oxygen supplies running low. And now they got to deal with the Katrina virus coming through it. It's hardly any beds to deal with. Or how about some of the hospitals out here in California screaming and yelling for more nursing? The need for more nursing is becoming greater and greater at this point over here because nobody likes to deal with the damn COVID situation or the longer work hours. Basically, you're doing 25, 8. You're doing 8 days a week and 25 hours. Now, how is that possible? It doesn't matter. You're there. You're chained to beds. You're chained to the hospital. You're chained to your work at this point over here. You're chained because you're dedicated to helping people left and right, but you're also human and you're burning out left and right. Let's face it. I've heard it. I've seen it. I got friends who are burning out on this stuff. I got a feeling that they're trying all their energies, trying to stay alive mentally and physically. It's not that easy. I'm fearing that one of them, or any one of them, are going to get the virus and then end up in the morgue. And that's the hardest damn thing for me to deal with, is understanding that. They'll be in the morgue. And it scares the hell out of me. Because they're my friends and families out there. The decision that Governor Newsom that he took concerning that party of his, yeah, that was reckless. That was reckless on his part, probably stupid. But people are making this thing as the bonfire. Basically what he was trying to do when he shut down California, and I mean totally shut down the state of California, everywhere and anywhere. He was trying to save bed space in the hospitals and ICUs, trying to save our medical establishment for them burning out and getting keeled over and then ending up as a net statistic. And yes, prices went up, and real estate's gotten hell. Our taxes are screwed up. What's not to love for California anyway? They say we got good weather. Oh, I'm sorry, global warming is happening at this point. Time to move out of California. We got forest fires. We're taking out all our nice, lovely forests over here. That one particular radio show host keeps blaming the governor for in the first place. They're national forests. That's the United States Department of Forestry's territory, not California. Sorry, I guess maybe he forgot about that one. And then the other political candidate, not yet, he's using a bear and using colloquialisms that hopefully will get people voting his way. I'm thinking, is he taking notes from Cal Worthington? I mean, back in the 60s and 70s when he had to use his card salesman named Cal Worthington, all the way over through the 1980s. He was doing this dog spot routine. Well, now you got this guy named John Cox. And believe me, there's too many things to talk about this guy. Especially using his name the way it is. A businessman hardly has any credibility in the political realm except how to donate money to him. And he thinks he's going to run California as a business. They actually tried that for the national chain. It didn't work. You can't run the state as a business. The state is a government. The state is a collection of people, businesses, a lot of different things. You just can't run it as a business. Besides, how much kickback is this guy going to get anyway for the other businesses? Yeah, it's an accusation, but you know, he's a businessman. Go figure it out. I'm not going to go down the line. These are the only two major contenders that keep putting out their viewpoints. And actually, they're going to get themselves torn apart left and right by the people. They enter the political arena. This is what happens. Get your ass torn apart. So, tear me apart then. I'm not throwing myself into the damn political arena. Shit, I'm not running for the damn government job. I don't want the damn job. I don't even want the damn job out here to govern a whole community of knotheads over here. You know, I'll be happy just reporting on these asses if I've actually got a problem with them. And I do have a problem with this if I keep blocking me on social media. Because I am not one of those kind of guys who's going to be talking about the community saying, oh, this community's bad here because of this and because of that. Oh, about this person over here, that person over here. Great, we're doing pay and place again all over. We got to be gossiping about people left and right. Our own little community of Roseman is still having issues concerning about trying to find his own damn identity. Trying to find his own leadership to actually give a shit. And for some of them who actually do care, are struggling with the other entities who just don't care, both locally and also countywide. We got new people trying to vote in for new supervisors to help with the problems of Kern County. They should have just stuck Rosemont with LA County and just dealt with it that way. We're right next door to each other. What the hell? But no, we're the outskirts. Valley County would take us in. Then county's resources would be stretched to the ultimate thin. Now think about that one. Because I have to think about that. I kept thinking it would be nice to have LA County services over here. The problem is, we're not equipped for it. And we don't produce enough income to generate that warrant. We are right next to an airbase. And if we happen to turn into part of the LA County, is right next to an air base. Well, we're doing the same thing for Plant 42. Federal government won't have anything to say anything concerning about a county taking over a small province. But the problem is, the province got to be worthy enough for the great LA County to actually send us support concerning about law enforcement and fire services. And then we got to deal with the water rates that they've got and the water rationing that they may have to be doing at this point over here. Not to mention in our little community, who's going to be representing us? Are we large enough to be called a city, or are we just there? Like a little place called Little Rock or Lake Los Angeles. Small communities run by their own community leaders over there. I haven't heard too much outpouring of grief concerning about their problems over there. But Roseman, yeah. But nobody cares about little old Roseman. People say, leave us alone. We want to be by ourselves. No, you don't want to be by yourselves. Be by yourselves to be without county stuff. How does this relate to voting? How does all this jibber jabbering relate to voting? Well, this is government. This is government 101. How to govern your community is how to get to know your community, what their needs are, and to see if you can have the funding necessary to do them. If the people don't want to produce the funding for them, I guess they don't need the services that badly, but they're going to be screaming for it. They're going to have to pay for the damn thing. That's how it is. You want the services? Pay for it. Think your property taxes are too damn high? Tough shit. This is how it is. Now, if you were worrying about medical services at this point over here, well, let's see, you've got a choice of a small community hospital about 15-20 minutes away called Hatchby. Not even a level 1 emergency, but just enough. I would call it a major, just call it a oversized urgent care area. Then they actually want an actual hospital to go to. It's an overstocked, and complained about great deal trauma place called Antelope Valley Hospital, located in Lancaster. And then there's the emergency room that's got some beds, sufficient staff, but not an emergency trauma center. Panorama Regional. Those are your only three major medical places for a medical holiday if they actually have any illnesses or injuries. And if they've got a sufficient bed, or maybe just a place in the corridor for you to hide in. illness or injury. With the COVID nightmare kicking in, people are also trying to either weasel out of the system of not getting their shots and then infecting everybody else and telling everybody else it's the government's fault for doing this kind of stuff while they're hacking up their lungs in the emergency rooms, taking over valuable bed space and oxygen supplies until they pass out or die. And that's happening right now all over in California, not to mention in the United States. Part of governing in California is how to manage your resources. Besides the forest fires happening these days, not to mention the drought situation that's ongoing for about a couple of decades already, where water tables are going far more critical than we like. Because water is also power in agriculture. It's water political, it's water energy, and it's water for the people to use, not to mention for agriculture to growing food. And once you lose that, you're screwed. Now, California is on a coastline. You'd think, just once, maybe these people would actually propose something out there of putting desalinization plants up and down the damn coastline, suck up the damn water of the Pacific Ocean to use for our own damn needs. Treat the damn thing, process the damn thing until you got fresh water out of it, and then give it to the people in the city coast. Sorry, that costs money. That costs in property taxes, sales taxes, taxes. It's your fault, Governor. You're raising too many taxes over here, but we want more services. Money for nothing. We want services for nothing. Or else we'll leave the state of California. And there we go. The ones who are stuck here have to be paying the damn property taxes, and we can actually find a piece of property to stay on, whether or not if it's going to be expensive or not, or if it's going to be a ramshackle place we're going to be calling home, if there is any ramshackle places left to live. With the housing crisis we have here in the state of California, it's crazy, because we don't even have necessary any housing build up or any apartments build up, and we have to tear the things down that we like so much to build up more housing units. About 50 to 100 years from now, we're going to have this place tear down every single historic place just to store people here. If we haven't died from the COVID-19 or another damn disease comes up where politicians are blamed for all the time. Well, the climate hasn't killed us yet in the coastlines. Hasn't swallowed up anybody else just yet. Or how about the NI has still decided that nuclear energy is the way to go? I love that one. When we started developing nuclear technology, especially nuclear power plants, we thought we had found a nice safe area to deal with. But we realized nuclear power was a very unstable and very new way of trying to power homes and stuff. For a while, we thought it was. Yeah, folks, I cough. It's called having breathing issues and not because of COVID. You try getting spores, molds, and fungus around here, affecting your lungs. Let's see how well you're doing these days, because our sure is going. I know I don't blame the government for this one. If I did, I'd be hooting and hollering up a storm saying the government caused my own damn illness. No. Shit happens. Deal with it. Well, how do you deal with that kind of attitude, especially when you're dealing with nuclear power and nuclear waste? Damn. I knew I was forgetting something about that one. Nuclear waste. Well, let's see. We have wastewater from the reactor and spent rods. Through nuclear reaction, processes that I don't even know about, the heating of the water generates the energy necessary through generators and turbines and stuff that powers smaller communities up to a larger community. But in order to do that, we also have to use radioactive isotope rods of sorts and water, heavy water, certain type of water that will contain the radiation. Now, this water is not able to be processed or reformulated in any way. This is radioactive water. This is radioactive wastewater. Either you find a place to store this stuff or you don't. There have been problems trying to find places to put this stuff in. Yucca Valley, or Yucca Flats, Yucca Mountains, one of those areas, had to be a storage area, a deep underground storage area, to contain the nuclear waste material in there. It's been ongoing for decades, since we had nuclear energy. We had to have a place big enough and deep enough to contain the radiation, just in case anything happens, collapse the entrance, and the whole area is radioactive underneath for millions of years. With that level of radiation in there, nothing's going to live except if it's mutated to the point where it thrives on the damn radiation. But looking at the effects of how nuclear radiation affects people left and right, especially with our stupidity. I'm not talking about Fukushima, I'm not talking about 3 Mile Island, just look at Chernobyl. Do your homework on that one, you'll find out why. People keep saying, we want clean air energy, we want fusion, not fission energy. The thing is, we only are comfortable with the fission, but it's kind of hard for us to maintain energy levels, or actually the science necessary to create fusion reactors. Fission is basically when you have two atoms, well, two types of atoms, like hydrogen or something like that, and they break apart, and there's a lot of nuclear reaction, there's a lot of energetic reaction in here, in between spaces. That reaction on a quantum level is producing a hell of a lot of power and a hell of a lot of energy. The scientists like Einstein and others like Oppenheimer had worked out the calculations of how to make a bomb. Einstein didn't like the idea of a bomb. He proposed the theory of relativity, which we all depend upon our own technology upon. But Oppenheimer was one of those, among those scientists, among the nuclear physicists at the time, that were trying to develop a bomb necessary to blow apart a country in a world war gone mad. With that kind of power, we could devastate a hell of a lot of real estate, not to mention people and everything else in it. And it happened. Twice. Sorry. I'm not editing. I'm keeping that in. Case in point, concerning about health reasons these days. And I'll get back to that one in a little bit. With the nuclear energy now being produced, we theoretically have a way of having our cake and eat it too while it's glowing and killing us at the same damn time. We didn't realize that this one particular genie we can never put back into the bottle. We've been trying to do so for decades. When it came down for our nuclear arsenal ready to kill the world and everybody else, how many times over? Count how many damn nuclear missiles and warheads we've got out there, not to mention bombs. And pretty much we could turn this planet into a slag heap. Of course, the Earth could also do that too. I suppose if the crusts were cracked enough, the spreading centers, and in the hot spots, we could actually add a lot more radioactivity to the ground than we had thought. Because in the ground, we still have uranium still being processed in there. Earth's natural radiation being brought up to the surface and in radioactive everything. Radiating everything, I should say. How does this relate to Gavin Newsom? How does this relate to an election? You have to keep in mind everything has perspective and context at this point over here. And because of all that damn coughing fits I'm doing at this point while I'm giving a lecture concerning about energy needs and sidetracking on the dangers of nuclear weaponry, and not to mention nuclear power at this point over here, one has to keep in mind that some of this stuff actually has relevance in the state of California, especially when it comes down for defense contracts, defense bases that we have over here. And not to mention radiation spilling all over the damn place if anything happens to the old power plants if they're still in operation. They're all out. But still, if we actually decide to put up another power plant, we'd ask for energy, but then where do you store the waste? And then you have to transport the waste through communities where people live and work. Now, water. Water, 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 water. A green Sprite bottle filled with tap water from local sources of Roseman. People can't stand the taste of it. I don't even notice it because I haven't been here long enough to develop that kind of taste for it. All I know is water and it goes down. It helps me out. But imagine this is the only damn water source we have left in the face of the planet, or actually in the state of California. How much of a premium for each drop? That's what we have to face at this point over here. This is a reality check concerning about what we're dealing with here in the state of California. Not to mention every other state out there in the first place that's being affected by the damn drought, which is like from the Rocky Mountains and Colorado all the way down to Texas to the West Coast. Sucking up dry of no moisture. If we got lucky enough, we'll get moisture, except maybe for flash flooding. So how does this relate to Gavin Newsom, considering it back to this? Well, you lose this and you lose everything else. Water, then rushing gallons and gallons and gallons of it through hydroelectric dams, produce energy for cities to use. If the waters are also being diverted from the dams to cities and towns who are using all this water for whatever reasons. We're supposed to be getting a lot of snowpack, a lot of ice flow, and also groundwater. We haven't had enough of that in 20 years. Our weather has been changing so damn badly, our efforts may be futile at best. We might have to start looking forward to salinization plants. Because rivers right now are drying up and so are the lakes, evaporating into the sky. With the excessive heats that we have, we're not equipped with enough water caches out there to supply the energy needs, let alone the water needs of our towns these days. We're getting to that point. Is the politicians trying to vie for the governor's job understand this particular situation? Because besides drinking water and energy water, how about the food they eat? Are we going to be constantly importing the food from everywhere else, or are we going to be dealing with California food? If we are going to be dealing with California food, don't we need to have enough food for export to get money from other places to help sustain our economy? Gee, what a concept. So now we got environmental concepts to deal with. But if we're not going to be dealing with environmental concepts, then what are we going to be dealing with? Well, we still have the water being evaporated. We still have the farmers being used. Well, how about the marijuana farms? That's even better when the state of California elected to keep, or actually vote in, marijuana being legal in the state of California. So now more of this is being sucked up because of California's stupid decisions at this point. And I did say California because these residents As much as they love the idea of getting high, the cost of it, boys and girls, the cost of it. Now you got less water to deal with. Imagine that's the state's supply of water right now. And I just took a huge gulp regarding weed control. So now we got this much less water to deal with in the state of California. Of course, they're going to be bringing up the homeless situation. Well, let's see, the homeless situation could be multiple reasons for that. Losing jobs, losing homes, losing income, losing their minds. Losing homes because they're getting outpriced. Taxes going up, they can't pay the rent. Can't pay the bills, out you go. Into the streets you go. So now you become one of the many refuge out there in the streets trying to camp. Now you're not allowed to camp because those who you joined up with just decided to kick your ass out. They haven't had nots. But Larry understands this one, right? Because has he been there? Has he always been there? No, he hasn't been. There was an activist a long time ago. He's probably passed on already. He would have been a better candidate for governor, but he'd be only selected for it anyway. Just for a certain area. That's the homeless crisis. Unfortunately, he's gone. So now we're stuck with the other people who think they can do better. Better than what our current governor's doing right now in the state of California. Because each of our communities are telling people that they can't sleep, they can't live, but we want to take care of you, but you don't, but. We'll take care of you, but we don't want you here. In the Antelope Valley of California, where I've resided for the past 17 years, I'm seeing more and more of the homeless populations increasing out here because they're moving from Los Angeles, Orange County, up to here. Some of them are still stuck down there in their own areas, trying to find a way to live and survive. They can get off the streets, maybe they can. Some of them probably can't. Not by physical deformities or maladies, but because of mental reasons. Alcoholic, drug abuser, mental health. I've seen enough of that too myself. Even out here in the Antelope Valley, we've got it. There had been rumors for about a decade that city and county of Los Angeles had tried to shift some of their homeless problems from down below the city, the county area, up to their district region and let them deal with them here. There was a war going on between the city of Lancaster and Palmdale versus the county of Los Angeles and the city of Los Angeles. They had been in a feuding situation for, what was it, 15, 20 years? Hardly the people down below in LA County would hear about it because none of the stories would have been catching their attention. But out here in the Antelope Valley, it was a constant news source, constant irritant. The mayor of Lancaster, probably coming up on his last term, they called him the King because of his name. Well, apparently his lordship and his fiefdom here have been warring against the homeless situation, trying to shove them around left and right because he didn't want them visible anywhere. He didn't want them, period. He tried to send them back down to the Union Station again. So it was an ongoing feud, an ongoing war. Never confirmed, never denied either. Cops would arrest, but the cops would have the jail cells full of homeless people. Where the hell are they going to put them at? Well, they're going to be jailed for vagrancy, released out again, and form their own communities, and the ongoing war goes on. Meanwhile, the resource centers are maxing out their potentials and their capabilities because of the people and because of the damn politics going on. The haves versus the have-nots all over the damn state, and also all over the cities and communities. Yes, it's called paying attention to what's going on in local politics these days. There was even a ballot measure put through the Antelope Valley whether or not people are going to be funding new homeless shelters to house the homeless the homeless. And they tore it down. Not the building, but the ballot measure themselves. The haves were not going to have it. And they're still going to be belly aching about the have-nots. That's another thing the governorship has to deal with, is where to put the homeless people, but also putting the people who are having issues becoming homeless. Enter COVID. The COVID nightmare exploded everything. Everything. We had to have housing moratoriums, keeping people inside because we didn't want the bug to go outside. So we had to put moratoriums on evictions and rent increases, sometimes forgiving rent in different places, different counties, different cities. Landlords didn't like that because they still have to pay bills. They still have to pay property on their own, and they have to pay taxes on their own. So, no tax being generated at this point, not enough of the income. But the surplus of the state have to keep the people alive, so here comes the tax relief. Meanwhile, the hospitals are getting filled up left and right because people are being exposed to the COVID and its lovely variants out there left and right. Before we had the vaccine, we had to battle it out left and right. We had to argue with people to wear masks all the time, separate, wash your hands, and try to stay as healthy as you possibly could without contaminating everybody. Naturally, that didn't work. Of course, the numbers went down until we got the inoculations going. And then when we got the immunizations going, we were supposed to be theoretically fine, right? Wrong. That didn't happen, did it? So now, people who are on this political head game, religious cult crap, are saying that the vaccines are against God. Are against God of every sort. Religious leaders are saying, what's going on with your heads? Some of them actually did say that the vaccines and the masks are against God. It's an affront to God. Let's see how God liked to deal with the damn plague that's already bestowed upon him. Let's see how he and the angels like to deal with this kind of stuff. I don't see him laughing his ass off every time his children are coming up over to him and asking him the same damn question. Where the hell were you when we kept praying for your help? And the answer is always, it's always been down there, except you were too stupid enough to understand it, did you? I sent you the mask information, I sent you about the immunizations, I sent you about everything else necessary to deal with this damn thing, and yet here you are, you're going to be belly aching at me? Get the hell over there. I imagine he's going to be more kinder on the wordage than any actions. But out here, so we got to get ready to deal with the COVID nightmare, the place shutting down, and now trying to get itself back together again. But this time with restrictions necessary to keep the bug at bay. Problem is, people with the head games are going to have to deal with that one. So now, how many of these elected or soon-to-be governors have the capacity and the understanding to deal with the COVID crisis if it came on their term? If they became governor instead of Newsom, and I'm not talking about the recall election, I'm talking about if they all ran the last time and they didn't. Where the hell were all these damn knotheads the last elections? Nowhere. But now because we got a recall election, blood in the water, here comes the other sharks from the other oceans, right over here in our pond. They think they know better. Where the hell were they in all the damn elections? I hadn't seen all these damn names. Where the hell were they? So I consider every one of them all knotheads. Because not one of these assholes went against Newsom, publicized that they were going against Newsom, campaigned up and down the coastline, including the magical Larry Elder, who says he's been here for 30 years and nobody will ever listen to him. 30 years in the media? Give me a break. You're just like Rush. You built yourself a cult following, you expect your cult following to carry in office, but you have no governing experience, Elder. Where the hell were you during the counties or the city elections? I didn't see your name over there. Where was your government credentials? See, once you become a politician, once you become a candidate to be put on the stage in front of everybody, you're open season, pal. You're bitching and griping concerning about Newsom going after you specifically. He didn't go after you enough. He didn't go after you enough. They should have been going after your record, whatever the record was. Oh, I'm sorry, do you have a political record? Do you even have a resume concerning about working for the city, county, of any place around the state of California? Do you have any governing experience? Were you on a ruling council, even a school council? Even a school board? Produce the records. So this election is a tiring one because the state of California is going under. Regardless if it was Newsom or not, we're going under. We already screwed ourselves over collectively, besides the state of California. Mankind has screwed itself over regarding this. Yeah, I'm doing the greenhouse effect stuff here. Because let's face it, we all did it. Every damn country. No matter how many good intentions we tried at this point over here, we screwed ourselves over. Industrial Revolution came up and then all hell broke loose. At least that's what the theory is. But it's a hell of a theory because I'm seeing the reactions of it about 260 some odd years, or maybe more than that. Or maybe less than that, actually. I think it's more than that. Because when we started burning down forests left and right, even with our primitive equipment, we started releasing gases into the air. But then somebody's going to be throwing up theology in front of my face anyway, saying, what about all those damn volcanoes? We're going to be outlawing those damn things? Okay, let's see how you try to put up a damn piece of paper in front of an active volcano, see how long you're going to be. You got gases to deal with, you got heat to deal with. Those two alone will kill you. It's not the damn rocket calling on your head. Yeah, watch out for flying lava. And yes, Earth's gases do get to be mixed up in the atmosphere. I think the Earth is a balancing act of its own self, trying to regulate itself. But with mankind doing slashing and burning and everything else over the past God knows how many centuries, and then with our own industrial revolution of producing more gases than what nature has intended, we're going to have more consequences down the road. Let's see how our 30 or 40 plus knotheads are going to be able to deal with this one. So yeah, this is my rant and this is my rating. I'm posting the video of me voting, but I'm also posting this out there as well. Because I need to tell people what the hell's going on, but it's going to be way too late. I'm not telling you to keep Gavin Newsom. I'm telling you, keep an open mind of which knotheads are going to be out there that are going to be governing your particular state. It's going to be having an effect on you and everything else. Is your taxes going up? Is your taxes going down? And keep this in mind, our state floats on taxes. It floats on the backs of the people of California, the businesses, and the individuals. Sales, property taxes, wherever they're getting the source of income. This is where the state of California generates its survivability. And if it's not getting enough out of us, don't start bitching and griping about it. Do something about it. Of course, lowering the taxes means you're not going to have that many services. Keep this in mind. The services that you demand all the damn time requires money. Money for equipment. Money for manpower. Eek! Manpower. That means many manpower hours. A lot of employees. County. State. Local. They require money. Money out of your pocket. Money out of my pocket. They're not doing it for free. They're not doing it for the love of the California. They're doing it for the paycheck, baby. And if we're screwing them over, they're going to screw us over left and right. Say hello to the say hello to the existing California system we have right now. So, I'll let yourself wake up to that fact. Remember the vote.